Welcome back to Saga of Three Kings, session number 61, entitled The Maelstrom. Last session, the group finally usurped the conglomerate remnants that are in the Sacculum of Bones. The Sacculum of the Bones. They managed to find an individual who was tied up to the bed, kind of left in a state of not great. They were able to kind of assist him in cleaning up and also learn that he happens to be in a way related to one Christinger Vester, who, according to all understanding, is the name of the individual that Shambles used to be before he is now a Shambles. That said, the group has fulfilled everything necessary to complete a long rest. During the 8 hours downtime that you kind of braced yourself away inside of this space, the adventurer, Zand Christinger, who prefers to go by the name Mirage, who those of you who are watching will probably realize is being played by Zach F. Today and for the remainder of his tenure in sessions. He has the opportunity to clean himself up, get his gear back together from outside, and kind of reacclimate himself back to semblance of normalcy. Nothing happens during the downtime. Raya spends a lot of time spider climbing up into the rafters, up into the observatory above, and coming back down saying, I'm just keeping an eye on that ship. Specifically Shambles, who's also awake during the whole time.
Sounds good.
But yeah, after the rest is complete, Raya says he's going to continue to keep an eye out up above. Just keep an eye on that ship. It's very concerning to him. But what would the rest of you like to do?
Well, we came here for Brooklyn. We came here for you. You wanted to come and check on the Sacculum and look for Soulwell.
Okay.
So I would recommend we look for that, if it's in here.
Yeah, let's do that.
What does a Soulwell look like?
I don't know either.
What is with Brent's... Okay, so
Yeah, your
Brent,
sound's
it
going
seems like
nuts.
you're
I don't know what it's
coming from a different source now.
I think you're not coming in through your normal microphone. That's what it is. It sounds like you're like talking to something that's far, far away. While you get that sorted, like I said, Raya's kind of out of positioning, and Grok, Mirage, you two kind of are there in the first level of the Sacculum. Up above you, there's another layer which leads up to the observatory section, and then there's a staircase that descends down into the mountain structure. And Zach, for your purposes, basically it's like a very tall kind of like cairn or rock, and up on top there's like an observatory with like a telescope out of the top of it.
Is this better?
Yeah, that's better.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why I was picking up my webcam mic, not my actual mic.
Discord would be weird.
Doobie.
But yeah, leaving it to you. What would you like to do?
Rock says to Mirage, were you a pit fighter as well? Like Shambles in a former life?
Nah, I ain't never fought in a pit, but I've done my fair share of fighting for sure.
It's good to know. Are you going to want to leave on your own or you want to stick around?
Well, if you guys are going investigating, count me in. Always like a good adventure.
He's a good guy. I vouch for this guy.
So,
How long have you known him, Shambles?
all of like 8 hours?
How long have I known him?
Yeah.
I guess we kind of grew up together. I don't have perfect recall of my life, as you may know. But,
yeah, that's very true.
He is my younger cousin on my mother's side, so
He's known me longer than I've known him.
for a while.
The math adds up.
Granted, there's a year gap in there. Where I've been palling around with you guys.
Yeah, and also that whole no longer a person thing.
Can we? What does? Can you? You might have described him last session, but what does Mirage look like?
Sure. I can go ahead and leave that to Zach.
So he is a well-built sort of individual. Has a standard human look to him. Actually looks pretty. The clothes that he's wearing are of the finer quality. He's got a solid gear set with him as well. You see a sword and a shield, and
Armor, of some sort.
yes, yep, and armor as well.
Like heavy, medium, like.
It is well fine leather armor.
Okay. So I might be a speedy type.
Oh yeah, and you would tell he looks very athletic. Like if you were to race him, he would probably win.
Got it.
Might not beat an elf.
That's actually a really
I think you probably win against Grok. He's a 500-pound turtle.
correct. That's right. That's true.
Right.
There are some individuals here who can cheat to win races of the foot.
I
So
don't know what you're talking about.
anyway,
Just as a heads up, for the website, I have no idea what a Soulwell looks like, so we're gonna just be banking on that the sword knows what it wants. So we'll just go in with that.
Have
Excellent.
you tried to speak with it?
Yeah, I've asked it a couple times before we came here, but I'll make sure to keep it awake.
during a long rest, if you do converse with Dias Haziel, it will state it is a place where unborn souls enter into the material plane. It's the only point in the material plane where they can be seen because of the conflux of souls that are present.
Yeah, last time I talked to it, it said that it's a place where unborn souls can come into the material plane, and it's a one-of-a-kind area.
I thought he was just going to recite exactly what I said. He was on track to do it, and I was
That
like,
works.
I was like, if he does it, you know what? Go ahead and gain inspiration, anyways.
Something called perfect recall.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, he didn't do it. He didn't succeed at it, but he made me think that it would have been awesome. So that's enough, right?
It's enough for you. It's enough for us.
All right, well,
So, if I'm understanding correctly, you asked for a description of this thing, and it told you it is unique.
yeah, pretty much. The sword is helpful.
Sounds good to
but
me.
Not always helpful.
Gotta love a sword that talks, but only in riddles, huh?
Yeah.
It's suicide.
Originally, it sung, but after I got it reforged, it doesn't really sing as much now.
Ah.
It still has the kind of harmony in the background that kind of resides when you pick the blade or pull the blade from its scabbard. But yeah, it doesn't sing anymore.
And
Well-
John, could you remind us what some of these control? I know I was messing with some of the controls last session.
Sure. So when you go back into the control room, you'll note that there are a total of 6 buttons on the left of a windlass, basically crank, and then 6 buttons on the right. All are bright red. It's basically like a whack-a-mole table with all of the buttons kind of up. On the back wall, there is, on the far left side, a number of levers, all with like a red ball at their top. And it looks like, hold on a second. Let me do this real quick. Sorry, bear with me.
No worries. Grok would say to Rooklyn, maybe this center hole is the well, and we need to.
That's not a hole.
smell
Sorry,
activate-
that is a pillar that goes straight up to the ceiling.
Never you mind.
Sorry.
Oh.
There's a staircase that descends down.
How lucky would it be if that were the soul well?
Drop
That
a
would-
penny.
Checked box.
I gotta go play the lottery now.
Looks a lot like that thing in the middle of the room.
And just to cover, that's what Mirage looks like.
Nice.
Although, so far as to say, he doesn't typically frown. You've only seen him stern-faced like that once when he was arguing with Raya.
That was for a school picture.
Yeah, that was for a school picture is what it was.
They don't
Okay.
let you smile in IDs anymore.
They don't.
want you to.
Seems like we've only got one direction to go, eh, fellas?
That's
And
right.
he starts heading towards the stairs.
Yep, we might need to come back up here for these controls, but let's go down and see.
So back to kind of describing the controls. Sorry, real quick, before we move too far from them.
Oh, yeah.
Again, it might be something important, might not. Buttons, wheel crank, a number of levers with kind of red toppers. Looks like some kind of digital display, literally, except that it's kind of glowing greenish colored on its like back end. So it's like a sheet of glass with kind of green kind of coming up out of it. A couple of indicators and one larger lever to the right that is kind of pushed back towards the wall. There is some sort of indicator or series of indicators and some more levers in that middle, kind of top middle left panel. Different styles of levers as well here. There's a star chart. Looks like some sort of astrological kind of patterning that's been kind of drawn out on a blueprint-like piece of paper, and a number of other pieces of paper that are kind of stuffed in kind of like a side bin to the right of that table. Some astrolabes and cartographer's tools kind of out on the desk as well. All of his gear was actually underneath this table here, and then to the right of that there is one last table which looks like it has kind of another kind of indicator and a couple of buttons and what appears to be a very large gear.
The charts and maps, are there any recognizable shapes or landscapes to them?
It is not anything that is immediately recognizable without an Arcana roll.
I would like to check it out. And you said it's astronomical?
Yes, it's like basically what you're looking at are oh god,
Star chart?
why can't I think of the name of the things that are in the sky, like the Big Dipper?
Yeah, a constellation.
Constellations.
My brain sometimes doesn't work. Constellations. It's a lot of constellations on this map that's present. And when you kind of pull out the other ones, it seems to be the same thing. If you'd like to make an Arcana check to kind of get a grasp for what's kind of going on here, you can do that. But
Sure, I just rolled a big 12.
okay. Not sure. Definitely the only thing that kind of makes you kind of curious is the four that are in the bin look like they are kind of parts to a whole, and the chart that's out on the table appears to be that whole. But you're not sure what they are. It's kind of like a strange kind of quadrisectional like series of maps, with the larger map being kind of the more open kind of something.
Got it. This is not much here for me to understand. Let's go down, like you say, Mirage.
Okay. If that's the case.
Down or this way?
Down is the other way. Yeah. He looked like he was heading up. Perfectly.
We didn't check up, did we?
Nobody's gone up yet, except for Raya during his...
Raya went and dragged that guy down.
Yeah,
Stabbed him in the head a lot. It was graphic.
that is
So
true.
down is this way?
Yeah.
Let's go down. We'll come back up.
Okay. And yeah, Raya's up there. He's going to stay up top. So that's fine. Bear with me here. I think Raya accidentally is there. I'm going to go ahead and remove him off of there. And I just want to check, can everyone see okay?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you descend down. It looks like the positioning you're kind of coming into has like it's kind of a long descent, not just kind of an immediate. And you kind of hear a burbling sound kind of coming from beneath you. When you kind of get closer, it sounds more like a rushing of water sound. When you kind of turn around and look off the railing for the stairs, to the south of you, you can see there appears to be a pool of water, and it has kind of like a greenish glow to it. It also seems to be kind of steaming. The temperature down here is really strange. It's very cool once you kind of hit ground level, but there's kind of like a rushing of hot temperature kind of coming from that corner of this room. There are a number of ever-burning torches present on the walls. To the north of you, you can see a series of pipes that descend down into the earth. with pipes that interconnect them as well. They all appear to be made out of brass, not too dissimilar brass-wise from the brass that was on the exterior of the observatory. It looks like this place is mostly unworked, though, with the exception of the stairs, the pipes, the sconces, and that's it. But kind of to the north, northeast, there's a passageway that seems to lead into a more conventional, constructed kind of area. Yeah, that said, moving around Grok over to that direction,
Yeah.
you could hear kind of the roiling of steam. You can pass by a corner area where it looks like there's a number of bones that have been kind of left on the ground near what appears to be bedroll, looks like. When you look down the hallway, it looks like it immediately kind of turns to the right, kind of dead ends and turns to the right. That said, everyone's down here. I'm just going to go from left to right before we move down the hallways. And just let me know what you're kind of wanting to explore in this room, or if you're wanting to just move towards the next passageway. Alright. We'll start with Zach W.
I was going to have a look at the draining water. I know it's the same as the
Brooklyn.
boiling hot on top.
It's a different color.
Okay.
It does appear to be from...
It looks like it's coming from the same source, if
Yeah.
the maps are lined.
So, Brooklyn, as you're kind of moving with Shambles, it looks like, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You watch as Shambles' body just drops. He just
Okay.
falls to the ground unconscious once he gets within like 10 feet of the water.
Okay.
And
I'll
for you,
try-
Shambles, you just black out. It's like
Right.
the best way I can kind of analogize it for you would be like when you kind of get really, really hot, temperature-wise, and then you like kind of feel yourself blacking out, but then hitting that blackout state. But when you're in that state, it just feels like when you sleep. It feels, well, not you because you don't really sleep, but it would feel like what it would be like as if you were sleeping.
It's what I think sleep feels like.
Right.
Gotcha.
Okay, then I'll try to pull him back until he kicks back in.
Okay. As you pull him away from the water, he does regain consciousness. Grok, you hear a loud metal sound from the south as you kind of move towards the north. And Mirage, it looks like you were kind of moving with Grok as well, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Throwing out that chance for double
Grok,
replies.
is he okay? Grok says.
Looks like it. I think he just
Yeah, don't
passed
touch
out.
this water.
Brooklyn, you didn't
Spoiled.
feel any different getting
Yeah,
close
I
to the
didn't
water.
feel anything.
If I had to guess, some kind of anti-magic stuff similar to that door we found in the Magir's Tower. I had the same out like a light kind of situation going on.
Yep.
So careful of your items in that.
Yeah, I would say, Brooklyn, when you were dragging him away, if you have something that's augmenting your strength at all, it wasn't in effect. It definitely felt like you were kind of walking into a dead zone magically. And as you kind of pull Shambles aside, and he gets back up, I'll go ahead and move to Grok and Mirage. It looks like you two are just intent on moving towards the next hallway, or
Well,
do you wanna...
actually, so the bedroll that you described over here, I'd like to investigate.
Okay. And Zach, are you going to go over there with him, or do you have something else you want to check?
Yeah, these torches aren't really giving me a lot of light, so I think while he is doing that, I might start lighting a torch for myself.
Well, hold on a second here.
It seems like there's bones over here, Mirage. Skulls, even.
Skulls.
I
Ooh.
thought maybe.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and you can actually just grab one of the sconce torches, the ever-burning torches. That way you don't have to light a light. You just have a ever-burning torch. And
Wait, I'm gonna do that too if that's an option. Jeez.
well, you have 120 dark.
Oh,
vision.
that's right. I have night vision. I have the goggles. That's right.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
Well, you're here to
Really?
stay.
Okay. So you should be able to see good now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't see them.
Grok, when you walk over to the bedroll, you can see that the bedroll looks like it and a pack that's kind of in and around it have been kind of ripped open and kind of scoured through. The bones themselves look like they are relatively fresh. Some of them have kind of breaks in them, and you can see the marrow present there. Kind of placed under a rock, there looks like there's kind of a broken hand, and you can see that there appears to be a ring kind of lingering on the pinky finger of the broken hand. And this is an opportunity for improvisation, Zach. Your cohorts, the people that were with you in your adventuring party, yours to describe, but the ring on the pinky finger belongs to one of the two adventurers that were with you.
Rock is going to pick up the hand, and he's going to see if he could identify the kind of creature that might have caused this destruction.
It definitely seems like the flesh, muscle, tissue, and the like, and even the bone marrow that's kind of present appears to have been just dissolved. The only things
I'm sorry, you were going to say.
the only things that kind of remain here are the just bleach white bones.
Grok, can I see that ring? And you see the smile like drops from his face for probably the second time you've seen him.
So he would hand the hand with the ring on it to Mirage.
Instead of taking the whole hand, Mirage just plucks the ring off of it, looks at it, and goes, well, not gonna get him back, are we? Puts it in his pocket. It's not gonna be fun telling that story.
Who was he? Or her? She.
It was he. You had it right. I think. Oh no. I guess I only ever called him Bud. But
I get that. I do that a lot, actually.
You know, now that you say that, he was always my bud. I called him Bud. He was a great bud. The best bud a bud could ever want.
That's just
But,
buds for you.
He was a big bud too. About 6'8", 280 pounds. He's a hell of a fighter, that bud. You give that bud a big hammer, and that big bud would bash your brains in with that big hammer.
So many bees.
You're bereaved for your bud.
I'm sorry for your loss, Mirage. Don't mean to be callous, but we are adventurers and we need every advantage we can get. Can you tell me about that ring that you just pocketed?
If you pull it out and show it to him, it's non-magical. It just appears to be kind of a trinket.
It's a family ring, from what I remember. Not anything special. Just hoping I can go bring it back to his mama.
Well, thank you for that. Maybe it'll bring his family some peace.
Mama was a big mama too.
She a bud?
Big family, really.
Mama Bud?
Husband, his dad wasn't as big, but big mama for sure. Now I never got to know her very well, but she cooked a mean stew for sure.
Also, I cannot place this accent for the life of me. Is
We're
it
going for.
Is it Maine or?
It's morphing a little
I don't
bit.
know what I'm going for it.
It's gonna
I
coalesce
like
at
it.
the
I
line.
do.
It's pretty much on point with my notes. Transatlantic.
Oh, okay.
Going for old timey movie accent.
Nailing it.
Okay.
But yeah, the bones do look like they probably would stand to a 6'8"-ish, 7-foot height. So that seems to match the description. No reason for him to lie about that.
Well,
I guess let's check this passageway out to the
sorry
east.
for your loss.
Okay.
And there's only his bones there, right?
Right.
Only one set of skeletons.
Yeah. And so there's one other adventurer that, if you want to take a second and just
Is missing. Yeah.
make up one while you're thinking. So it's not a pop quiz and we don't... just felt kind of...
He's allowed to have more than
What?
one bud.
Fine.
You're like
We're
Big Bud
some
with his
remaining
big
things
hammer
here.
that bashed your brains in? Come
good.
on.
We're good with it. Okay, so if you continue on through that kind of narrow passageway, that's about 4-ish feet wide, you kind of make your way around to where it kind of turns about. There's a door immediately in front of you, but you can see that it's more of a portal way, and over top of it, you can see what appears to be some strange kind of mechanism that looks like it might drop a door, or contain a door kind of in the ceiling. The door is currently, if there is one, is raised into whatever this mechanism above the door is, above the portalway is.
Out of character, we do assume this is like a rolling overhead door kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like a portcullis kind of deal, or like a gate drop kind of deal.
Gotcha.
Everyone who isn't Brooklyn or Mirage can go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Oh, good.
You can add Arcana proficiency if you have it.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
Does 11 call it?
That's not the one.
No, I didn't think so.
19.
You remember that the mechanisms for the doors in the laboratory on Ice Fang Mountain were similar, except that they didn't drop down. They rose up.
Okay. And what do I remember about triggering the door?
Well, the doors are open. You don't remember how they were activated, with the exception of when they descended down. Raya had a trick for opening them, so you're pretty sure that somebody skilled or handy with, door opening would be able to crack them.
We don't have our thieves tool guy with us.
Raj, you any good at that?
I might be if I tried, but I ain't got no tools with me.
Well, the door's open anyhow.
Door is open, yeah.
You would
Plenty
see
of
that
doors.
there's another such door to the south and another such door just south of that.
Let's go first things first, I think. I'm gonna step through the first door.
Okay.
Dynamic lighting does not seem to be on. Is that that's what you wanted?
On that wall there, no, it's
Okay.
I did miss drawing that out.
Okay.
So
Oh, I see.
while you guys continue,
It didn't even occur to me.
you see that there are more pipes in this room. Some that kind of go from floor to ceiling. Some of them that kind of run along the sides there. It does look like one of them is kind of excreting a bit of steam. The same is true of one of the pipes back in the other chamber. But the steam, as you kind of approach it, those of you who aren't undaunted would realize that it's not heat. It just appears to be steam.
It's not giving me that same,
No,
knock
you're-
me out syndrome.
You are currently still standing.
I'll just keep an eye on the pipes as I'm moving.
Is that a chest at the bottom of the room?
It is, but it's kind of behind the pipes, and you're not sure if you could bend the pipes to get to it.
Are the pipes floor to ceiling?
Floor to ceiling. Yep.
Okay.
Could he just wild shape and go in?
Yeah,
If
turn
he wants to
into
waste
a
a wild
little
shape, yeah.
beetle or a snake or a...
Yeah. Well, let's do a mouse, and we'll just crawl through.
Okay. Now, are you going to turn back into yourself and then acquire the loot and then turn into a mouse again? To
Use
get
all
it?
your wild shapes just
I
to
know,
check this
right?
box. I mean, I've got a better idea if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So right before he turns into a mouse, you see an alternate version of Mirage.
Really?
Take
He-
your time.
He's trying to make it happen on the
I know.
thing.
I'm working on it. Hold on.
He's doing good. I saw the.
So maybe
I saw
I'll
the
hold
character
on. I'll
roster.
hold on the wild shape then.
Do you want me to throw him down?
Yeah, right here. I don't know why I can't.
Did I
grab
do it?
Yeah, I don't
I think
have
you did.
access.
Oh, there's
Hey.
several of them.
I can't grab that token for some reason, John.
Did you
Play
give
fix.
him? Did you give me permissions instead of him? Because
Oh my
of
god,
the
because
thing?
Zach, oh
You
god.
totally did. Hilarious.
Well, buddy, let me
That
know
was
if you ever
funny.
wanted Echo. And all.
It should be fixed.
I got
now.
it now.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're an
so-
Echo Knight?
Yeah,
Cool.
so essentially you see a copy of Mirage appear inside of there, and then he like looks at you guys, winks, and then switches places with it.
Okay.
Wow, that's pretty slick.
And now can I open it up?
You walk over to the treasure chest. It looks like it has a lot of cracks that are kind of formed on the stone that it's sitting on. It looks like the top of the box has been hit a number of times with a very heavy bludgeon. You're not sure what it was that was hitting it. It does look like it is slightly broken open, but it looks like it's going to take some effort to get it open all the way. If you'd like to try and force the lock, you can make a strength athletics check. If you'd like to try and break the lock or the remainder of the lock with like a attack roll, you can make an attack roll. Whichever method you want to utilize.
Yeah, I imagine I would take my sword and just try and bash the rest of the lock off of it.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and make an attack.
Does it look like somebody was trying to reach through the pipes to smash it open?
Okay. Go ahead and give me damage. All right. You bring the blade, swiping it very quickly, smashing through the lock. As he draws the sword, Shambles, is the first time you've kind of gotten a look at the sword, which I slightly described last time, but didn't really give too much detail on. You recognize that it's kind of ornate handle, very strange-looking kind of artifice to it. It appears that this is the sword of the Council of Coin. It is one of a series of 5 swords that is granted out to the masters of the council. And this person, who is a second son of said house, has it in his hands and is using it to break open the lock, which succeeds. Inside of the chest.
Swag buddy.
Inside of the chest, you see that there is kind of like a red velvet kind of cushion, and sitting out on the cushion is a hand. The hand appears to be that of an basically a designed humanoid, but very, very, very similar to more like a porcelain doll kind of hand rather than Robot Man.
Okay. Is it sitting on like anything that
Yes,
I can?
It's on the cushion. You can.
So can I scoop the whole cushion up
Yep.
and say like, it's looks like I got a hand here, boys.
Another one? Brock says.
Yeah,
I do need a hand with some stuff, so might as well.
sure. Give me a sec, and I pop back to the other side.
Switching places. And yeah, he has the hand in hand.
You someone else want to take a look at this thing?
I'll look at it, marvel in its beauty.
The Echo can actually be destroyed and brought back for free, so he's not
Yeah,
trapped
but-
in there.
He just teleports next to me because I'm gonna keep him with me now.
Yep.
I got my little buddy.
My other buddy, not the bud that not
No,
Bud.
that was Bud.
This is Buddy. Fair.
I must be seeing double over here.
The porcelain
3
hand.
Christengers.
Oh God, is it another Zag?
Every time he makes one of those, we invite another Zach into the discourse.
The porcelain hand looks like it could be worn by a humanoid creature, as if it were a glove. It's slightly large enough for that to happen. It looks like it does have a gold charm kind of wrapped around the wrist, but not tightly. It looks like as you kind of move the cushion to open it and show them, the hand kind of slips a bit, and you can see the ring kind of moving around the wrist a bit.
So which one of us is going to risk it and put it on?
Well, can I try to examine it first?
Sure.
With my sort of magic sense.
Yeah, it's very magical.
So shall I roll an Arcana check?
You wouldn't be able to identify it with an Arcana check.
Oh, so I would just know it's magical.
You know it's magical, yeah.
Got it. I would say that.
Well, boys, live and learn, I guess. Somebody be ready to bring me back if I die.
I don't
More
know
than
how
one.
to do that.
I could do that.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up the hand thing.
So you place it on?
Yeah.
Okay. It's the glove of infinite falling. No, a portal appears beneath you, a portal appears
No,
above
he
you.
doesn't even fall. He just feels like he's falling constantly.
That's already happening, so negated the effect.
You slip on the porcelain glove, and it fits, but it doesn't do anything.
I'm assuming I put on the little gold band as well with it.
Yeah, it's kind of on there.
Nothing. Okay.
If you try to remove the gold band in any way, it's impossible. It feels like it's a kind of like one of those puzzle things that it seems to be kind of latched onto the wrist in such a way that there's no way to get it off of there.
You want to try to punch me?
Grok would be
Oh,
smart.
is that an option? And you see
No,
both
it's
me
not.
and the Echo like
Always
smiling
not.
like
Love on,
that.
Grok,
You're right. You're rated.
you would be smart enough to know that some items of the magical nature require time to attune, so it's not just going to immediately grant its effects.
I mean, at the worst case scenario, I'm just Michael Jackson now, so let's go.
Hee
go.
hee.
Certainly looks pretty.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna woo all the ladies back in my hometown.
For sure.
Might woo some men with that one too, there, buddy.
Who knows, man?
You descend
More of them
south.
anyway.
You've got options.
The point is, you got options. If you descend south, Shambles, you would immediately kind of see that at the far wall there appears to be kind of like a brass kind of display. And it looks like there are 4 large vials kind of slotted inside of the display that are filled with green, bright, kind of green glowing liquid. Very similar to the Najir issue back at the laboratory and the water that was outside. Do you wish to approach it?
Don't do it.
I mean, I'm willing to play Canary, but I have a gut feeling that this is gonna. Like, I'm talking while I'm walking up towards it.
If you move within 10 feet of it, you immediately drop to the ground like
There
a
I
ball.
am.
Grok picks him up, and fireman carries him away.
Yeah. Looking at the liquid, it looks like it is kind of purified and contained inside of these vials. You would be able to note that there is a series of boxes underneath these kind of shelf spaces off to the left or the right of the screen with pipes that are kind of folded down inwards, but the pipes are kind of bisecting each of these little shelves that are off to the side. And these boxes look like they are also made out of brass, and it looks like they have kind of locking mechanisms and the sigils of the 2 snakes, the conglomerate signs, on the boxes. So you would latch the 2 snakes together effectively to kind of seal the boxes. Does anyone open the boxes?
I'll check out the northernmost one away from those vials.
The second you open the box, you fall to the ground.
Neat.
Inside of the boxes, there are more vials of whatever this fluid is. That
Do you think that's in all of them, or should I check the rest?
I can check the rest.
once you close the box and kind of get Shambles away from it, 2 things that you realize.
What are those things made of?
This brass appears to stop the effects of whatever it is, because
Good.
you're walking past the boxes, and until someone opens the boxes, it doesn't have an effect on you. It might very well be the case that some of these pipes have portions of this weird fluid flowing through it. You're not sure which pipes, though. It doesn't seem like all of them are filled with this weird anti-magic fluid. Some of them have empties, but each of the boxes has they're large enough to hold the vials that are on the display there basically bisect. They can split in 2 when you put them in the case, so it's got 8 in each of the cases. And I'd say there's,
Bag of holding?
if you check, there's 8 of them that are present. Did you say you wanted to put them in a bag of holding?
Yeah, I mean, you never know when that could be useful. If you had any.
Okay.
Since
well,
the-
I would rather have a brass container to put them in, so I could approach you safely.
They're already in. Couldn't we just take the boxes, or are the boxes made into we can't
Question
take the boxes
for the
out?
magic guy, and I turn to Grok. We put the anti-magic stuff inside of the magic bag of holding. Does the magic bag of holding break?
I don't think it's wise to try.
This guy, turtle guy's using his brain. I like it.
Well, no, see, because out of character, here's what I was thinking. The box negates it. Why don't we just take the whole box? Or is the box made into the wall? It's just
no, you can take the boxes. The boxes slot out. It looks like they're kind of for transportation. That's what the purposes of them are. But yeah, you can pull the box, and when you kind of get a heft of it, the brass, the size of it, it feels like it weighs about 25 pounds. So, I mean, if you want to throw that into your bag of holding, you certainly can try. And, we'll deal with the repercussions if there are any.
I don't have any bag of holding. That's why I asked.
Shambles
Somebody else
does.
is willing to.
Don't do it.
I have some thoughts about not carrying this around.
Okay,
Oh, the magic
that's
guy
fine.
doesn't want to carry the anti-magic vials inside of his magic bag. Logic checks out to me.
I'm not a magic guy, but
Well, you got
I
magic
really
in you.
like being conscious.
you have some magic inside you, sir.
We all have magic inside.
That's
us,
well,
Rocky.
yes, that's right. It sounds like what you need, Shambles, though, is you need brass body, and you're good to go.
Well, I guess we'll shop around then.
Grok, make a perception check.
Happily.
Do you see a brass body laid around?
But what is these rolls, man? I have a +9.
You rolled a 3. It's great. Nothing kind of stands out. This all seems fine.
Seems fine. It's fine.
Yeah, there does appear to be another point of egress, a point of exit out of this place.
Yep. I'll walk through this door.
Your standard anti-magic.
You see
Repository.
a sofa with kind of like a footstool, a number of stools around kind of like a bar-like desk on the far wall. There is a mattress with kind of blue and white blanket off to the side of you. Another desk to the north of you. A shelf with a number of different wine bottles in it. And it looks like the bar desk to the southwest has a number of different alchemical kind of tools. Alembics, different kind of vials and bottles that are kind of connected with like hoses and the like. And it looks like there is a small distilling happening towards the end point of this process. And from what you can tell, they're starting with the green liquid, kind of on the closer end of the desk to you, and they're ending up with a pinkish liquid. There's not enough of the green liquid, you don't think, remaining in the thing to kind of trigger a knockout for your undaunted companion. There's also a strange mechanism in the south east corner, which I forgot to mention, which has another display similar to the one upstairs. But this one seems to be showing information and not really have, it doesn't really have any kind of access points for you to kind of do anything with it. The language that's present on these displays is confounding. It doesn't appear to be any single alphabet. It appears to be a number of different alphabets, a code. You can see letters of Draconic, you can see letters of Elvish, you can see letters of Undercommon, Abyssal, Infernal, Celestial, you name it, it's probably there. And it's kind of scrolling.
Rocky should move in here. Something about the look of this place just
I'm
screams
in here.
Grok's house.
I am in here.
No, you should live here.
Live here. Okay. I can cannonball on this bed.
Yeah,
Does this not look like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sewer
it
space?
does.
It does, yeah.
The mattress is, it's pretty rigid. It's not very comfortable, but it does appear to have kind of, it's basically like if a very rich person had like a mattress and it had done its duty decades ago, and it is basically being utilized without bed frame or anything in this space.
Got it. So we're gonna flip that mattress.
It's pretty gross on the other side.
Okay.
There's kind of like brown staining on the mattress on the opposite side. It does look like it kind of peels off the floor a bit, leaving some of the material present on the stone.
Been here a while.
Top is perfectly clean though.
So, does anybody want to check out the room that we didn't go into?
And Grok, because you're trained in Arcana, the thing you would note is it appears that someone's been prestidigitating the top of the mattress and the blanket, but they haven't been doing it thoroughly, and they haven't cleaned the bottom of the mattress.
Some half-ass wizard has been here.
Some half-ass wizard lived here, it seems. Yes.
Okay, let's. So I guess I should probably check out this device here. Oh, there's a door down this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
this
you head south, we'll talk to you in a second. It did sound like Brent was asking if you wanted to check out the door you bypassed.
Yeah, we did skip over.
Brent,
I can come back. We'll come back to it. We'll stay as a group.
if you head up to that room and kind of peek inside, more pipes. Only one going vertical though. And it looks like there is another one of those wheelie mechanisms, like the one upstairs, on a strange kind of bit of bronze artifice. Other than that, there's nothing in the room.
None for later. Might be something we need.
The room does have a certain kind of dampness to it, though, compared to the rest of the place that you've been through.
Comfortable room.
Yeah, it seems the steam is a little bit more fluid.
You want me to come, smell it out? Make sure it's clear?
I think we're good. Don't need
All
to
right.
pass out into a whole room of it.
I'm just saying, there's another room I could pass out in.
It's Feint Patrol.
If you head south into this strange room, what you'll see is there appears to be a number of buckets, wooden, kind of clasped together like barrels, but not barrel sized, more bucket sized, in the north east or the southeast corner. They're filled with kind of a goldish powder, and it looks like one of them has been knocked over and it's kind of spilled out quite a bit. There's a desk. The desk has kind of a glowing lantern set on top of it. It looks like the source of light is just kind of a bright, glowing mote of some sort of energy. There is a schematic here. It looks like it's more specifically focused on one constellation instead of all of the constellations like the maps upstairs. And there are some notes, but they appear to be written in the same code as the strange jargon. The most important thing in this room is the very large machine that's kind of humming, which is connected to a massive bright red crystal which is glowing. And from what you can tell, the pipes that are connected to this seem to be funneling some kind of liquid based on the sound into the machine, which is being powered by the crystal, which is then sending the liquid out into the other portion of the device here.
I will approach.
You do not fall over.
Hey! I made this one well.
I would like to check out the gold, the gold bucket that's fallen over.
Yeah, it just appears to be like gold dust. It has a very similar texture and kind of look to it as residuum dust, but it's gold. And it does have a certain luminosity to it, even amidst the darkness. As the light kind of hits it, or as you kind of touch it, it just kind of has a glow of its own. There are 5 buckets worth of this shit.
Let's
Sounds like money.
let's take some of this.
Was this guy an alchemist? Was he actually making gold?
You think it's gold
Or is
gold
that-
or just a gold
That's
colored
all I
thing?
was- yeah, that's
He
what I was
said
asking.
he said it's gold dust.
It
It
looks
looks
like
like
gold
it
dust.
looks like gold dust, but it has kind of the same texture as residuum and it does have a luminosity of its own, kind of glowing on its own.
Because the gold that I know doesn't glow.
Well,
Pulls
maybe
out a
let's
gold
go-
coin. Nope, not glowing.
You are a practical sword, aren't you, Mirage? But this seems to be maybe the result of an alchemical process. We see the lab here. Might be interesting to take some back.
Yeah, if you want to grab some, go for
I'm
it.
gonna grab.
I ain't gonna stop
If I
you,
have
turtle
like
man.
a small bag, I'm not gonna take a massive amount.
Sure.
I'll put some in tied up.
Yeah, you find a small bag kind of at the desk, walk over, fill it with the gold dust, and pocket it.
That'll be a Benson question, because
Yeah.
I don't know things.
Yep. So the machine looks like it is working, but it does look like it's kind of not moving at its full pace. I guess is the best way to. It sounds like it's just kind of background oscillating, not really going what you would presume is
Not
full
full
steam.
production.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a place in the machine where one would deposit something to power it, like a hole or?
Doesn't appear to be the case. So let me explain it from kind of left to right as you're looking at it. Massive crystal kind of saddled in kind of a strange, like arcane kind of cradle. And then the cradle has 2 wires, like very thick cords rather, that connect to the side of a massive steel box. At the top of the massive steel box, there's kind of like a round, glowing crystal that glows bright red as well. It might just be glass, really. But the crystal itself is definitely some kind of arcane crystal or something. There are pipes that come out of the ground that move up into the steel box. There sounds like there's some kind of fluid coming out of those pipes. The pipes are not made out of brass, so if it were the green fluid, Shambles would be knocked over. Shambles is not knocked over. The pipes appear to be made out of some sort of parchment or like kind of almost plastic like, although plastic's not a thing. It seems like vellum, like very like thick vellum pipes. On the side of the steel box is a column, which is kind of glowing with that same golden light that connects to another box, and that other box has kind of like a lift plate on its front and a dial on the right side.
Perfect. That's what I meant. So I'm going to lift that lift plate
Okay.
and look inside.
Inside, you see kind of like a funnel like area, almost like you know those if you go to like carnivals or you go to like arcades, they have the push coin thing machines. It's like one of those, but it's dust. And it seems to be pushing the dust towards like one side of the thing, and more dust kind of sprinkles in, and then push and push.
Right.
And it's just kind of like mounds of this gold dust on the edge. Looks like there's also a brush kind of slotted in there on the side, which you presume is being used to kind of push the gold dust down, which funnels to where you think one of those barrels would nicely fit.
Right. So I'm going to take one of the barrels.
Okay.
I'm going to say stand back a little bit, folks. And I'm going to put some of the dust inside of this bin and brush it forward, I guess, into some sort of whatever mechanism.
Sure. No, so I think you're doing it backwards. This is
I'm doing it
making the
backwards.
dust.
Oh, this is making the dust.
That's where the dust came from.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Never mind.
Well, we gotta find out where these pipes are coming from.
Down.
Maybe it's a soul well.
So the door that you're kind of passing through is kind of open. It is kind of up, like the other ones. To the sides of that door are two kind of glass panels that you can see through into this next room, and there is a staircase that does descend down. Bear with me here.
I think we head down.
Further down we go.
I found some mystery powder. I fell asleep a couple times for the first time in a year. Uh,
No, you wouldn't sleep up on the mountain.
yeah, you're right. I've had some times.
I've always thought there was a difference between going to sleep and passing out, but to each his own.
You'd be surprised.
All right, bear with
We're
me
all
here.
surprised.
All he has of sleep is memories.
All right. It does look like the passageway does kind of narrow into a 5-foot wide kind of descent. Who's in the front?
Brooklyn, you want to go first?
I'll lead the way.
And then?
Shambles.
Grok will go third.
And Mirage on deck. Is Echo first or you first?
It's me, then Echo, if we're doing it like this.
Okay.
If we're in the back, then I'm gonna... But, like, we're both, like, creeping down the stairs, doing the exact same movement.
Perfect.
You could, like, if you turn around, you can see the Echoes trying to see around me.
Very Scooby-Doo.
All right. I think this works. All right. As you descend down, you get to unworked stone, but it looks like people have slotted out boards, wooden boards, on the ground over it to make kind of like a walkway. There are ever-burning torches present, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the illumination here. Hold on. Bear with me. Alright, so you should be able to see pretty well even if you don't have a torch. That said, looks like this kind of passageway continues on for some time. And as you're moving through it, you can hear rushing water, almost as if there was like an ocean beneath you. Or above you. If you'd like to discern where the water might be, you can make a perception check.
Yeah, definitely.
Man,
Nice.
there's no
20,
water.
25.
It is definitely below you.
I would say that.
Okay.
I guess watch where we're walking. That way we don't take a chance of tumbling.
Weird. I can control Brooklyn.
Yeah, I can.
I'm sorry. I control Shambles. Actually, I control Shambles.
How you controlling it?
That's weird.
Yeah, I have control of Shambles too.
Let me fix that. Hold on.
I think something's wrong. I can't do
You're a
anything,
puppet, dude.
like, except go down this like 2 lines, and it's just the line of it. I
Yeah,
don't see anything.
it's kind of in between. I understand. Map is weird.
Take your time.
If you hold Alt though, you can drop in between squares. If you hold it while you're setting your token down.
Okay, gotcha.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, let me fix the Shambles issue.
I fail to see the issue.
I don't have an issue with it.
Alright, fine, then I don't care.
Honor system, really.
So the rushing water, you can hear it. You would see that there is in the ceiling, kind of above you, as you're kind of approaching Brooklyn, another one of those weird door mechanisms. It looks out of place, to be sure. Although, as you've been making your way through here, the wall on your right side, character-wise, is kind of unworked. The wall on your left side appears to have some kind of work to it. As you kind of come around the way, you'd see that the passageway continues out into a more open room, and it looks like there is on the left side of this hallway up ahead of you another kind of a side entryway.
Boys, do we want to try to check out the side entryway first since we're on the way there, or do we want to just go straight to the big area?
You're leading.
All right, well, I guess we'll stop at least here so I can see inside of it.
All right. You see a bunch of water kind of roiling in a pool. It almost looks like someone transplanted a section of ocean and put it here. It's kind of moving with a bit of a rush, not as massive waves as an ocean would have, but it definitely looks like it's ocean water. It does have a certain kind of coolness to it, this room. And you're pretty sure it's not like the water outside, which was geothermal. This appears to be cool water. Really not much else in the room besides some ever-burning torches. It does look like the water is either deeper than you can see or insanely murky at its bottom.
Probably deeper, I guess.
Is that a
That's why I
soul
heard the
well?
rush underneath us.
Is that a salt well?
Sword?
Could
Sword?
be.
Question?
No.
Stick your sword in there, Brooklyn.
The sword says no.
Okay, sword says no, not a soul well. Sad.
Oh, now it's giving you straight answers, huh?
I know, right? It's picky, man. It's a fickle beast.
I thought it was a sword.
As you kind of enter into the open space, you can see a lot of work is being kind of done here. Out ahead of you, you can see that there's a railing that kind of descends down to a more dropped-off space, but there's kind of a greenish light kind of glowing from over there, and it looks like there is a lot of the green liquid kind of in that corner that way. To the north...
Green liquid's the bad one.
Correct. To the
Got it.
northwest, you would see that there is a very strange arcane door blocking the passage, and kind of steel sheets slotted as tiling to form the floor for that passageway. To its right, though, there's a smaller door, which is up, with the same kind of tiling, the weird steel sheets that have been settled down to kind of form a flooring. There are pipes that run up. Based on your positioning, your presumption is that these pipes were underneath the strange red machine, and you would see that some of them are brass and weren't up above, but some of them look like they have end cappers, like the last half of them is the strange kind of papyrusy, kind of vellumy, like paper tubes.
So we know the green liquid is the stuff that makes Shambles pass out, so we probably shouldn't have him go over there.
Yep.
Or the rest of us, since it is magical affecting.
I mean, you can walk back out of it.
Yeah, but my items are magical. I'm not trying to...
I don't have any magic items.
I do. I also don't know
Hint,
if it
hint,
would affect my
hint.
powers.
Give me the magic items. Okay.
It's...
What is what? Oh, it's a
This is
rock.
that-
It's a rock in the middle there. It doesn't go all the way up to the ceiling. Oh, sorry. That is a door.
That's a door. Okay. Is that the closed off one, or is that the
That's
open?
the one that appears very arcane and closed. Yes.
Okay.
Hold on a second here.
Mirage, can your echo go through spaces you can't see? Like, could it get past the door and open it up from the other side?
This
Nah.
is. Sorry, 1 second. This is what the door looks like from your side.
Oh. Okay, so it's like a
On the
puzzle
left,
door.
on the left side and the right side, there are just kind of small trays of black metal that look like they're just kind of. They're almost like ashtrays. Like they're just perfectly kind of rectangular, kind of slotted out in like a easily dispensed kind of almost horizontal positioning.
And there's blue on the left and red on the right.
Yep. There's a red triangle that points upwards, a blue triangle that points downwards, and on the door there are 2 red triangles, one on top of the other. It looks like they're made out of some sort of glass, and they have a very light illumination.
So it seems like we need to do something that turns that middle symbol to blue.
Maybe.
Put some of your gold dust in the ashtrays.
Yeah, I'll do that. Some of the gold dust in the ashtray, in the blue ashtray.
Nothing happens.
I'll wipe it back into my
I
bag.
feel like that was a good guess. Though. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
maybe
walk
this
away
is
feeling proud.
I'm gonna put my hand on the blue one.
Okay. It's not big enough to receive your hand.
Okay, how
yeah.
big is it?
It's basically like credit card sized.
Okay.
It's like a little ashtray.
Well,
If only Benson were here with us.
Starting to get nervous. We're gonna have to walk up a bunch of stairs and go back to them buttons.
well, there's a whole lot of great stuff down there.
Let's also this way. Let's check this way out.
Quit
Oops, sorry,
moving
Shambles.
me.
So
This way. This way.
Shambles, if you're looking over at the green stuff and kind of
Yeah, I'm observing.
you would see that there are a bunch of brass pipes that look like they've been knocked out of their faceting, and it looks like a lot of them have kind of caused like a strange weird rush, which has kind of come from a hole or passageway on the north side of that kind of down there. It definitely looks like something crazy happened. But yeah, because it saps your ability to be alive, you don't really, have an opportunity to check it out.
Yeah, I can't see anything that's out there. Only somebody who weren't me were to look at it.
Yeah.
If only there was someone who didn't have any magical items and didn't have a magical
Who
body.
wasn't allergic to green.
What's possibly green?
You're
I'll
like
go.
you're like the anti-Green Lantern.
I'll go.
I'm Iron Giant. I'm Superman.
I'll make my way down here.
That was a 2.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah, Grok, you start to feel like your magic items that you don't have be sapped of their energy. But you see that there's like a lot of strange green liquid. It pools in places up north of you. If you want to start walking through it, you can if you'd like.
Do I get a sense that does it burn? Does it?
It looks very toxic, and you definitely know it has an effect on Shambles. But other than that, you don't know for sure.
Got it. It looks very toxic.
I
That
advise
doesn't-
you cover your mouth and nose.
It's bright green. I mean, if you as a turtle want to go into the bright green mutagen,
We're just setting up the story at this point.
you turn into Daredevil.
Reverts back to his human form.
This is the final test in your training, Shambles, to become a Ninja Turtle.
If you go into it, you turn into Grok. Anyway, do you wish to ascend through the liquid and make your way up into the passageway, or leave it alone?
You can hold your breath for like an hour, right?
I can hold my breath for an hour.
It doesn't
but
appear toxic in that it's kind of emitting some kind of toxic cloud or anything. I just mean the liquid
Don't
itself.
roll around in it and drink it.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna put my hand in a little bit of it over here. Does it burn?
When you kind of pull your hand out of it and look at it, you would see that it kind of still has its glowingness on your hands. It doesn't burn or anything. You just kind of look down at it for a while, and you get this weird sensation that it's just kind of not there. Your hand, I mean.
So, if I were to, let's say, try to throw a firebolt with that hand, does anything happen?
Doesn't cast.
Okay. I'm going to step back and rub my hand on the ground and try to rub off that liquid.
Okay.
Does it work?
You try to cast Firebolt again, it doesn't cast.
Okay, yeah, I'm not doing this. This is not a good idea. Sorry.
I agree.
So we'll just walk back.
Okay. If you kind of, continually kind of try and get residual off there, pouring water on your hand, all of this stuff, after a fashion, you've managed to get a Firebolt to trigger.
Okay, so this is, I do not want to be submerged in this stuff. As interesting as it looks, not a good idea.
Yep.
I guess we'll just walk through this door then. Everybody's ready.
And if you'd like to make, I don't know if you specifically have made an Arcana check on the fluid. I know it has been deciphered, but I think it was Benson who did it back at the King of Fire's laboratory. So
I'd be happy to.
yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Any way to buff me on this? Anybody have anything that makes it better?
No.
I'll help.
Hold on.
Think, Grok, think.
I am thinking.
I'm helping you.
Got a brain blast.
I'm going to cast guidance on myself.
Sure.
So 20?
Yeah, so you would know that the liquid is known as Orbo, and it is a basically it is a negative to magic. It is a byproduct of the creation of Vitae, which is a magical fluid which is used to create Undaunted,
It's my blood.
or Undaunted habit in it. But for every positive life, in the case of Vitae, the leftover excess Orbo is kind of spilled out. So it would appear, based on what you're kind of looking at here, this is kind of like the toxic waste dump of the place. And it seems that whatever they're extracting, it's coming in this space.
Got it.
But they were storing it too, so just looks like
This
they
is
gave up on that based on
Toxic waste dump. Yeah, this is, good. Great.
magic toxic waste. Okay. Brooklyn, do you want to try and proceed through this passageway?
Yep.
Okay. When you enter in, first thing you see as you kind of enter into this space is a massive iron golem on the opposite side of a huge pit that kind of bisects the massive round room you're standing in. A number of brass pipes kind of go down into the pit, but the pit itself looks like it only goes about 10 feet down, and then there's like a magical void, like blackness, that's present there. The answer to your question is no, this is not a soul well. The iron,
Just
Right
about-
there. I was right there.
Yeah, me too.
the iron golem has very, very, very profound markings denoting it that it is a conglomerate piece of artifice. And his eyes flare red, and it kind of looks over in your direction. It doesn't do anything besides that.
If I walk like towards this way, does it just keep like staring at me, or does it?
It seems to be completely locked and focused on you with its eyes. Alright. As you kind of make your way up to the north side there, you can hear kind of like an electric sound, like kind of a popping of like static, kind of coming from the passageway on the north right side. So if you were to go up and then take that right passageway, that's where that would be.
Okay. As I'm walking towards this way, I'm gonna ask the sword of my mind. Do you have a sense of how close we are to the soul well, or no?
No, the answer is no.
So it doesn't know where it could find one. It just knows it needs.
No.
It. Gotcha.
Yeah. And as you get closer to that door, you then see a change of activity from the golem. Its hand lifts up as you get closer to the door.
Like the guard.
Probably.
Wave to him, I guess.
Um,
I wouldn't call any attention to him at all.
I would say, if you want to, anybody who's present in that room, yeah, you can go ahead and make a perception check. It is kind of far away. It's a pretty decent distance away from you, but possible to see it.
I'm gonna give. Wait, is that perception for this Grok? Because if so, I'll give you inspiration. That would
Yeah, you can give me inspiration. That'd be great. Yeah, 21.
Okay. So you would see as its hand kind of goes up, it appears to be holding something in its offhand. One hand's holding a massive sword, and that's kind of dropped to the ground. But the hand it's lifting up, when it kind of raises it up, you can see that it seems to be holding something. What that is, with a 21, you're not sure.
Okay.
It's the cursed stone of ever falling.
Do you kind of move back away from the door?
I would.
I'll move.
You see his hand start to drop back down to its normal starting posture. And if you kind of, just to test it out, test the waters, and move back closer to the door, its hand goes up.
So it's gonna do like a, ooh, yeah, let's go, guys. Woo!
But it seems to be very specifically just that door. Like, as you get close to it, it seems to raise its hand.
Okay. So,
Wish we had some of that green stuff with us.
right, we can throw it on it. That's what I see. Could have brought the box.
I mean, you could go.
We can still go get it.
You can go get some. It's all over the fucking place back there.
Yeah, it's just. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I'll give you some darts you can throw at him after you dip in there. I can't touch the stuff.
I'm not good at throwing stuff.
If one of you wants to go back and grab one of the vials, like, go back upstairs, or you want to run over and try and collect some of the loose stuff, you can. It's entirely an option.
I'm the only person that can't, so please.
Yeah. You guys want
Let's
to wait
make a
here?
call.
I'll run back. Try to run back to that where the boxes were,
Okay.
and grab a box of it.
He's gone for a little bit. Those of you that remain, do you want to do anything while he's gone?
You see
Could I
Mirage yells,
follow?
"I'll run with you!" And the echo follows, and once he gets 30 feet away from me, it just disappears.
Good trick.
I'm not running all the way back up the stairs. He's just the other two.
I'll keep an eye on the golem and kind of peer into the pit here.
Complete void 10 feet down. Like, it literally just blanks out. Like, you can see there's a tangible, like, magical darkness 10 feet down. It appears that the pipes descend into that void.
If I were to drop something in there, would I hear through a magical darkness?
I don't know, would you? You want to try that?
Yeah.
What do you drop?
I'll drop a copper penny.
Okay. Point is
for it.
nothing.
Wait for
happens.
it.
Yeah, you wait for a while.
We all stand there for like 2 minutes looking over the edge.
Nothing.
Well, it's probably pretty deep.
Shh, it's still gonna hit.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. there's something important I wanted to kind of focus on there. Are you staring at it?
The darkness?
Yeah, it did sound like
Oh,
you were just.
no,
staring
I
at it.
imagine I'm like leaned over with one ear
Yeah, yeah.
pointed at it. Like,
Okay. Well, if you're kind of looking at the darkness, there's like that kind of, stereotypical trope of like movies kind of like zooming in and kind of focusing in on the thing, right? Kind of keeping an eye on it, and it's completely still. And then, jump scare, you see what appears to be like a face kind of press against the blackness, but it doesn't.
What's it look like?
It doesn't breach. It just appears to kind of like, and then drop back down into the darkness. The face.
God, you're aware that you're a floating face in darkness right now.
Yeah.
Just-
I do understand that. It's almost like I planned this, but no, you don't see like flesh tones. It seems like it is covered with an inky kind of darkness, but it seems to kind of come up and kind of drop back down under the liquidy or kind of fluid-like darkness. Make a perception check. You asked what it looked like. I mean, I know you're asking in joke, but it looked familiar. But you're not sure who it was.
Okay, get its attention. It's like, hey, you.
if you kind of keep watching the darkness after a fashion, I mean, you'll see traces of like some kind of humanoid figure kind of pressing against the shadow, but it doesn't appear like there's multiples or anything. It just looks like there's one, and it seems to be kind of focused on this spot.
Is it an old face, a young face?
I mean, if you're staring as well, you can attempt to make a perception check. I would say after the initial one, each one will be made at disadvantage, though.
Okay.
So after Shambles' roll, everyone else will be making their check at disadvantage.
Okay, so we'll do guidance on ourselves.
I wouldn't say guidance would be available as an option. Like you're not
Okay.
sure when it's going to pop up. It's not going to come like when you expect it, so it may not be within your time frame.
Okay, 15.
Yeah, you're not sure. It doesn't look too familiar to you.
One of those mysteries, you know?
Seems so.
Yeah. And as you kind of stare at it, confused, not sure what's going on, Brooklyn arrives.
All right, guys, I got the thing. Shambles, you might want to step back.
Yeah, as soon as you walk into the room, I'm falling into the darkness. Yeah, I'll just stand over here.
Is the robot still locked on like our group, or is it locked on one person individually?
Did you just grab one vial, or did you grab a case?
Please.
Okay. So then, yeah, you can walk past Shambles as long as it's still in the case. Now, once you've got the case and you're kind of moving up to it, you kind of pull one of the vials out, right? And what are you planning on doing it? Throwing it from here? Because that's going to be a 1 in a million shot. Like
I would never make that shot.
You would never make that shot.
See, before I pull anything out, I want to like start walking towards the robot. Does it respond to me walking towards it?
If you're coming around that way, no. It's still looking at you, though. Like, after...
It's guarding the door. Yeah.
Yeah, real quick, for those of you who remained, when he left, its eyes then snapped to Shambles.
And when I came back, it did stay
He's
on.
doing his
It
job.
snapped right back to you.
Okay. Okay.
You can get
walk
as close as you like. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be reacting to you with its body, just its head's kind of moving and
I'll get
keeping its
right
eyes on you.
next to it and open the box.
Okay. The eyes stop glowing.
Does anybody want to help me push this thing into that pit?
I don't know if we need to do that.
Not now that it's covered in that goo.
No, he just opened the box.
You just open
Oh, he just opened the box.
Well, actually, I'll just take
leave the
one of
box there.
I'll just take a vial out of the box and set it there, open next to it.
Okay.
And shut the box.
Now, this is important. So as you kind of take the vial out and kind of look at it, you can see that the fluid inside seems to be bubbling.
Okay.
So you set the vial onto it. And from what you're kind of discerning, it's not very quick, it's very subtle, but it seems to be bubbling in such a fashion that it's just discorporating.
Okay, well,
So it's
that's
not,
the case.
it's not like a permanent thing.
I'll just leave the whole thing there, then the whole box
Okay.
is up next to it.
That's perfectly fine. All three of them seem to be kind of like bubbling at the same time, but they seem to be doing so at a slower rate. So you head over.
Well, that'll get us past, but it won't help us get back.
You gonna try to push it in?
Quick.
I was going to try to push it in, but...
Yeah, I guess if he's just putting the vial down, Mirage will go over and try and help him give it a little nudge.
So the two of you are kind of like trying to slot in behind it, get against the wall, and like push it over into the darkness. You can either roll one person with advantage on athletics, or the two of you can roll athletics separately, and we'll take the higher of the two results. So,
You want
whichever.
Grok to, what have you got in athletics? Brent?
+9.
I've got a 10.
I got a +4, so...
Sounds like Brooklyn's taking the side saddle
Yeah,
on this.
I just... Help.
Do you want to roll, Zach, or what? Or do you wanna do
Why
it?
don't you guidance yourself, and then I'll help give you advantage, and you can roll with advantage and guidance, right?
Will guidance work here?
Yeah, you're taking your time on this one.
Okay.
The reason why the other one
Keep
didn't
an
work
eye
is
on
because
the
it was
blackness.
the blackness was sporadically dropping out of it just came up at random.
So 23
Plus.
plus 27.
Okay. The two of you kind of get behind it. Mirage kind of looks at the floor for a second, and kind of like pushes the leg a bit to kind of drop it off of the pipes to get it onto the steel plates, which are a lot smoother. And then you kind of like guide yourself and see that kind of as well, and push it as so it's kind of a little bit more strident. And then you're able to kind of push on the back, which causes it to not slide off perfectly, but to fall over and then punk and then kind of like drop into the darkness. The second it hits, it kind of splashes a bit, and you're expecting kind of like a, oh no, liquid, but like nothing comes up. It just seems to kind of like create a splash, but like the fluid doesn't seem to jump out. It just seems connected and drops back into its spot.
Good call with the push, Brooklyn.
And
Yeah.
the golem disappears.
I'll shut the box then, and
Okay.
I'll carry it with us to the edge of the door,
Okay.
whichever door we're going in, and leave it there.
There are two doors. You can go to the left door or the right door. The right door has a cackling kind of lightning sound, like a popping static sound coming from it.
Sounds
I
like a
say,
friendly place.
yeah, we could check that one out first since it's the most animated, and then if nothing big troublesome happens, we can come out and check the other one. Unless y'all want to split the party, which I don't want to do. But we
Let's
can.
not do that.
All right.
Okay.
Split the party. Two of me appear. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
Your copy runs down the other hallway.
Get inspiration for that, Zach. I want inspiration for that. You go into, who's going first?
I will.
Okay.
Since it's my idea.
When you enter into the chamber, you'll see on the right side there are two large steel panels with glass kind of saddled in between the two of them, like a large glass kind of cylinder. Inside of the cylinder, you can see a red storm just, and that's where the sound seems to be coming from. There's a strange gauge on the eastern wall, which seems to be kind of set with levels kind of in its middle or median, kind of on this thing. On the left side, it appears that there's kind of like a strange kind of indicator denoting like a off, from what you can tell of the letters you can see. And on the right side, it's kind of a danger marker. But it seems to be kind of like neatly kind of placed in the median spot. There are two of the papery kind of tubes that connect to the sides of the metal plates with a storm in the middle that connect to the walls, and there are two more pipes that connect to a machine on the north side. The machine on the north side looks like it has sliders, two of them, and it looks like they're both kind of slotted in the center together. But it looks like you can slide the one on the right to the right and the one on the left to the left, or both in their own directions.
I'll play with the sliders.
Okay. Do you take the one on the right, slide it to the right, one on the left, slide it to the left, or both slide them about to both sides?
I'll slide them both apart, left to left and right to right.
When you do so, you realize that the what you're looking at appears to open up. There's like a cavity behind the sliders. Inside of that cavity, you can see what appears to be kind of a light bluish stone, which looks like it is kind of... if you're familiar with 3D printing, it looks like something's been being printed and is kind of like not all the way there yet. Or if you're not familiar with that, it looks like crystallization, but it hasn't kind of calcified to a full form. It's just kind of still in the processes of kind of crystallizing. The second you do that, those of you who are paying attention to the indicator will note that it starts to move towards the right slowly. Like it's starting to gradually increase.
That's making it dangerous.
I will slide them back together then, if I'm reading the room correctly.
You see the slider or the indicator kind of go and kind of slowly start to move back towards the median. Based on its current pace, it'll probably take about 10 minutes to get back to normal levels.
Okay, so we know this room is definitely something to do with the whole building. So we can definitely check out the other side then, since this is not a dire thing, since it's going back down.
So
Grok,
it looks like it's making something.
Grok, if you would like to make an Arcana check, you can. And Shambles, correct, 100% correct. That's just a clear kind of precise description of what's happening here. It appears that this machine is forming something blue, crystalline in it.
And there's no similar finished product anywhere that we've seen.
Nowhere.
Does not look familiar whatsoever.
There
Okay.
do appear to be two small containers with the gold dust in it, but other than that, no.
Oh, goodness.
You gotta peek at it. You're kind of thinking to yourself. You're asking Oru in your mind. You're looking at the thing as it opens. He shuts it really quick, and you're like, I have no idea. I don't.
Nope.
Well, whatever they're doing, they're making gold dust and then turning the gold dust into blue stuff. I feel like.
you're
I feel in my heart that that's what's happening.
You're
So-
100% on the ball. It definitely is very easy to indicate that that seems to be the case.
And the green stuff was being made into the gold dust?
It seems like the green stuff, from what you can tell, if these pipes have any indicators, is coming out of that storm behind you and is heading southbound to wherever it's depositing into the mess that is left behind.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to get cleaned up. Go ahead.
First, Brooklyn would ask about the center. I'm assuming you guys studied it while I was getting that stuff. Anything pop out to you, or because it kind
Threw a
of
coin down there and I didn't hit it.
Okay.
You guys made a big golem splash, though, so that was something.
Okay. Second, this is an out of game question. Do we think Divine Sense would be able to tell where the soul well is?
Divine Sense lets you indicate where celestials, fiends,
Undead.
and undead are kind of located. The soul well, it's basically, from what you've contextualized so far, the soul well is where unborn souls filter into the material plane from the astral sea. Unborn souls are basically souls that have not been written with a personality yet. So they're basically the foundational essence of what life is. If such a thing is present here, it will be very easy to tell that it is what it is, because it will have a bunch of like white motes of life around it. You have not.
It wouldn't
seen that
count
yet.
as like consecrated or desecrated land. Would it?
Correct. It is pure, but it's not pure to a sense where it was religiously made so.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, then I guess we can go back out here and go to the other door.
Okay.
Okay.
'Cause I have an idea, and I don't want to mess up the entire plan before we at least search this other door.
You make your way
Okay.
around and head up into this kind of worked area. You would see that there appears to be another door that kind of exits out from the space. There does appear to be a passageway that heads south. And based on what you can kind of factor out, this passageway might connect you to the backside of the strange mystery door.
So that's probably like a shortcut to not have to go where the golem was.
Yeah, perhaps.
So, do we want to search the south passage or the one to the left first?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Zach disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Zach.
One of the Zacks.
Yes, he's disappeared.
I'm coming back. Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, it's just gonna look goofy for a little while. Those are watching. Looks like we have a couple of people.
I am so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It happens, fam. Have you never been in one of these games before?
It's
This
true.
happens all the time.
You're talking to a guy who's gonna be in 3 of them. That said, south
Or if I ever have a free Saturday for the fucking Patreon one.
for sure. South or west.
What?
Okay. You head into the west area. You see that there's a staircase that descends down.
Okay. I say we check the south one before we get down any further.
If that's what you want to do, yeah, you can do that.
Sounds good.
Fixed.
Good job.
Okay. So from what you can tell, as you're kind of moving through the passageway, it does look like there is a door to the side there. But stop for a second. Brooklyn, as you kind of step out in front of it and look inside and see more bones, the ceiling, you hear kind of like a, and then the mechanism drops the door down in front of you, slamming down with the force possibly necessary to split a person in half. But you're fortunate in that you weren't close enough to get to it. You were just taking a gander at what was on the other side. I'm trying to close it off from your vision. I believe I succeeded at that finally.
There it is.
Very good.
Hope those weren't more buds.
Looks like this leads to that. where
Might
that
have been a bud.
would be then.
Yeah, so it looks like it leads to the back side of the door, which looks exactly identical.
Okay. So I guess we can go out to the west side. Then.
Okay.
Back down those stairs then.
if you're heading down the steps, there are a couple of crates in here before you kind of make your way there. The crates
I'll pop one open.
Okay. When you break it open, looking inside, you can see that there are a number of golden kind of orbs. It does look like they are kind of highly polished, and they have a slight glow to them. If you had to venture a guess, it looks like the dust has been kind of compacted into these orbs. And that's what's in all 3 of the boxes that you're kind of looking at here.
Are they heavy?
They weigh about the same as gold would, so yeah, pretty heavy.
I'll grab
I'll
one.
snag one. Oh, okay.
Maybe more than one, yeah?
I'll get one. You get
Good,
one.
good.
I'm sure we don't need dozens of gold orbs. I'm not Zenyatta over here. Get it, guys? I haven't played that game in like 3 years.
I haven't played in a couple months.
All right.
So we're gonna get down. And out of character, like out of game, my
Uh-huh.
thought process was, since you said it was like a magical darkness, if we just opened one of the things and dumped the green liquid down that way, what would happen is my thought process.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you certainly could try that. That's fine. But when you kind of come around to it, I think it's switched over. You enter in. There are 2 large braziers of fire. This fire appears to be real compared to what you've seen of
Torches.
the torches. But they appear to be ever burning in a sense, in that it doesn't look like they have ever been kind of like messed with, and it doesn't look like there's any fuel underneath the fire. It looks like these are raw motes of flame that are just kind of burning inside of these large bowls, saddled on kind of like golden legs. The passageway continues on for some distance. If you'd like to proceed.
Yeah. Go on past.
Okay.
See the little area with the door.
You would see, as you kind of enter into this next space, that it has the same circular shape as the pit room above you. If you look up, you see a blanket of shadow directly above you with the kind of rim around it, where you were walking on top. It looks like
Penny here.
there are a number of pipes that kind of descend through,
Oh,
and it looks like they all kind of connect to a series of different pipes that all kind of move down southwards. There is a pair of panels on the north side. One has 2 sliding mechanisms and an indicator. The indicator seems to be at a moderate state. And then there are 4 holes. Those 4 holes look like they are perfectly sized to fit the gold orbs, or, more precisely, Shambles, the orb that was forming inside of the strange mechanism.
Okay, so what we're carrying are the finished product.
The gold orbs don't. Make an Arcana check. You have been pretty on.
Okay.
You've been pretty on point with your guesses so far. I know you don't have it trained, but
16.
so you're kind of thinking that the gold ones, because they were just kind of tossed in boxes and kind of left to the side, were fuck
The
ups.
duds.
Yeah, they're ones that didn't make it right. And the blue one that was kind of forming in there was great. Wherever they're keeping the blue ones, you haven't found it yet. But it definitely does appear that you are carrying however many of those boxes you took, or however
We
many
took
orbs.
2 orbs.
Okay.
We each took 1.
Perfectly fine. You're pretty sure it is actually gold, is what it is. But it does appear that they're not what's desired.
The fuck up was gold.
I mean, I could
Fuck
make
up was gold.
Huh.
make a really fancy bowling ball.
Yeah, they're tiny. They're kind of like golf ball size.
Bocce ball. Oh, golf ball. Okay.
Still,
Yeah.
decent amount of gold.
There's no sign of a stone golem down here, right?
You're pretty sure you could flip those orbs for 25 apiece, and there were at least a couple hundred of them up there.
Okay, I will remember.
Yeah.
Grab the
I have
lookout.
been cash poor for a while.
Same, dude.
And I owe Raya a lot of money.
So there's no
He
stone
doesn't need to
golem
know
down here
about
now.
this. Sorry, say what you're gonna say.
There's no stone golem down here,
There's no
right?
stone golem, and there's no copper piece.
Hey, I'm sorry, a stone golem and what?
Hold on.
I would just this might have been the place that the stone golem fell down to, but I guess not.
One second here.
Okay.
No, the copper piece is actually found. It is loosely kind of around.
Oh, shit.
But the golem is not.
I would like to get that back.
Is there any damage to the pipes where something massive would have fallen?
Nope.
Okay.
For whatever reason, the copper piece made it through, but didn't make a sound that you could hear upstairs. The stone golem didn't make it through, and also didn't make a sound that you could hear upstairs.
Maybe it's because the stone golem's magical and the copper piece wasn't.
It's possible.
Stone Golem made a splash sound, didn't
Yeah, like it was falling into something.
If you want, it sounds like you're kind of inquiring on that, Brooklyn. I'll let you make an Arcana check. I know you're not trained in it, but you can go ahead and make one as you're thinking about
I'm
it.
the Arcana guy.
I know you're the Arcana guy.
The competence in here.
That was
You're
a
not-
solid roll right there.
The only reason they're rolling is because of the questions they're asking.
I know.
So yeah,
The reason I'm saying that is John is big. Well, all is because Benson's usually the Arcana guy, and he always gets the checks. And so, in the short time that Benson's away, I'm getting all the Arcana checks. Don't take
he? He's
them
busy
away.
making a school.
yeah, he's making Arcana checks.
Oh.
If you want to proceed southwards, it does look like there's kind of like a narrow kind of walkway along the sides of the pipes. The thing that's kind of most disturbing to you all is that there appears to be a bit of steam kind of around there. It does seem that there are also small little motes of kind of this almost frosty-like material that seems to be kind of floating in the air and kind of lingering on the pipes south past the kind of barrier there. You can kind of see the steam effect on the south side of this room. Grok, if you go into the room with a bunch of boxes, you would note that there are a bunch of boxes, and the boxes in question are filled with orbs. None of them are gold. All of them are in either kind of like a darkened kind of state of like violet color, or are kind of broken apart and cracked, and are kind of like a darker blue. None of them are the light blue, kind of cerulean, perfect blue that the one upstairs that was forming appears to have been in.
We might be getting closer. Let's look up to the north here.
Okay. As you kind of make your way into that hallway, stop for a second. Is anyone following him?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm staying
What-
close.
Get back, Rock. Get back.
Mirage was.
Get back into the space in between. Back up. In that 3 little 15-foot block, I want you back in there.
Right there.
Yep.
Whoops.
You'd be back. You'd be down 1, like inside of that space.
Right there.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. So the two of you, as you enter into that hallway, you hear a click sound as Grok makes his way towards the next point of entrance. Without thinking about it or rolling any dice, the second you hear click, I ask you what you as your character would do. Just don't try and do it in mechanical ways or gaming ways. Just tell me what you would do. What would your reaction to hearing the sound click inside of that hallway would be?
I would roll backwards.
Okay, you rush backwards. And Mirage?
I probably just turn and look to see where the click came from. Imagine I've got my shield up.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, Grok, with advantage, and Mirage, make it just plain.
23.
Okay.
6.
Okay. The doors of the hallway slam shut. The second that they do, Grok, you kind of manage to jump out before they do, but you're hit in the shell by the dropping door blade, and it kind of sends you sprawling into the crate room. You kind of hit Shambles a little bit, not knocking him over. You knock one of the barrels kind of to the side a little bit as it kind of slams shut. Mirage, your echo should still be present. I don't think I copied him over. It was still.
Oh, I got rid of him before when
Okay,
I
never mind.
made him run down the hallway. Remember?
Never mind.
Yeah.
So that said, you appear to be kind of locked.
I wish I had kept him.
There.
But yes, I did
Hindsight.
in game get rid of him.
2020.
John, you're muted.
Hindsight. 2020. Okay. That said, we're going to cut into kind of a beat-for-beat reactionary state. Zach F. will go first because he'll be seeing what's going on. The rest of you take into account. You have no idea what is happening inside of that hallway space. Unfortunately, I didn't catch a real player. I caught my guest star. Boo. Boo.
You don't get to kill a real player.
I wanted to try and kill a real player with this, but I got unlucky here. So, Zach, inside of the room, you start to feel the temperature drop like suddenly, like where it was. It's cold in here, but it's not terribly cold. You immediately start seeing your breath and can start feeling chill assailing your skin. There are 2 doors. What would you like to do?
If I bang on that door that I saw Grok roll through past me,
Yeah.
do I hear anything on the other side of it?
You start slamming on the door, and everyone on the opposite side, you would start hearing banging on the steel door.
I would want to start banging on the door to see if I could open it.
Yeah, you
Or
start
try to
banging
pull
on the
it.
door. Mirage, you hear on the other side, someone is banging back.
Do I feel the door being cold?
No.
Okay.
That's what Grok's doing. Shambles and Brooklyn.
I'm assuming we'd see Grok just roll
Rush out, door slam
What'd
shut.
you do?
It hits him in the back of the shell, causing him to like sprawl to the ground and like roll, slamming into Shambles' legs and knock over a barrel or a box.
Then you see him pop up. He would yell "trap," and he would run to the door and start banging on it. Help! He's caught there.
The door like slammed downward shut? Do we think
Yeah.
we can try to open it, like lift it?
Okay. Yeah, if you rush into position, when you get into position,
You two are both stronger than me.
Yeah.
okay, then you stay back.
I'll orchestrate the plan.
Supervise, I believe it's called.
And I, on the other side of the door, am now that I've got like established the bang bang. I heard bang bang back. Now we're gonna try and lift together.
Okay.
Both sides.
Well, that'll happen cycle-wise. We got to make sure we're doing a deeper
Sorry.
beat. No worries. I like where your brain's at, but yeah. So Brooklyn, Grok is kind of slamming on the door at first. He's not going for an idea. Shambles is like, try to lift it. Brooklyn, what are you doing with your kind of action in this space?
I guess after he says try to lift it, I'll run up and start getting ready to try to pull the door up if I can get a grip on it.
Now, are you trying to like kind of focus on doing it like Conan style by yourself, or are you looking at Grok and kind of like, okay, and like you're getting ready to help him out?
Definitely look at Grok because the door. You said the last one was like a drop enough to split a person in half, and I saw that, so I know I couldn't stop that by myself.
Okay, so you are kind of focusing on Grok, kind of looking at him and kind of getting down there. Grok kind of focusing up and seeing that. In that in between, as you guys are getting ready for that slotting, and Zach, Mirage is kind of thinking the same thing. The temperature drops super substantially. You start seeing ice start cascading across the walls, like it just starts forming up. You're going to take 13 points of cold damage. Your movement speed is halved. Not that that matters right now, but more conditions will take effect as you continue to suffer the Rhine damage. So that said, Zach, you are dropping to the thing and getting ready to lift, correct? Okay.
Yes.
So, are you going to try and lift, or are you going to wait until you see someone else try to lift and move with it? Or
Me?
Yeah.
I imagine like the bang bang was establishing like we need to lift, so I'm getting under there and like
Lifting.
hoping that I can like
Okay.
get
If
ready.
that's the
To, like
If that's the case, we're going to leave Grok out of this equation. You're going to make an athletics check, and you have advantage.
Go.
nope.
And Brooklyn, not sure what's happening, was looking at Grok and waiting for him, sees that it starts to move and tries to kind of fumble to get in there, and it doesn't work. He doesn't help the way that, was expected. You don't feel like you're getting enough assistance on the opposite side.
Weird question.
Shoot.
Can I action surge and try and lift again?
Yes, but you will not be receiving help. No, you would still be. For this. Brooklyn will not be helping Grok, though. So, yeah, if you'd like to go ahead and make your athletics check, go ahead.
23 any better?
All right. So the two of you, Brooklyn, you kind of go, okay, I should be on it. And then you feel some kind of surge of strength, martial strength on the opposite side. And you see the door kind of shift up, an elbow kind of reach underneath it, and kind of a knee kind of prop underneath. So you're at this stage kind of like real low to the ground, Mirage, kind of like holding the door up. And Brooklyn's kind of helping there, and you're like, you can't get underneath, but you have an open space. For those of you who are outside, a sudden blast of cold air kind of rushes out with Mirage, and it kind of starts filling up the room. You immediately start to see ice flecks forming on the corners of the barrel or the boxes.
Can I go now?
Well, no, that was you. Your
Okay,
action
sorry.
was lifting.
Okay. I have bonus action though, technically, right?
What's the bonus
Because bonus action, I can make the
Oh,
echo
yeah.
in the room.
Correct. So yeah,
I can't teleport with it yet, but I can make the echo in the room.
good call. So you see Mirage kind of appear standing next to Shambles. Does he do something goofy or cool?
Oh yeah, you see the echo appears like next to Shambles, and he looks down and goes, "Huh, that doesn't look good, does it?"
Like totally
The suspense
casual,
is
like
killing
Totally
me.
casual, like arms are crossed. He's like, "Man,
I hope he
good,
makes
does it?"
He's got popcorn.
and he's looking straight at Mirage. The Echo is, and Mirage is looking up at the Echo like annoyed. Oh. Okay, so Grok, it would fall to you, or Brooklyn, either one of you.
Is the door partially lifted?
Partially lifted, yeah.
So I'm gonna try to use the partially lifted door to sort of wedge myself under there,
Okay.
and I'm gonna cast guidance on myself and try to lift it.
Guidance is an action, so you're not going to be able to lift.
Oh
and
wait,
cast
guidance is an action. Okay, we're not gonna do guidance then. We're just gonna try to lift
Okay,
it.
go ahead and make an athletics check. You're trying to kind of supplant the weight from Brooklyn and them to yourself so that they can shift out from under it. You kind of get your fingers underneath and are trying to grab a hold of it. You feel your hand kind of slipping against the rime. It's not really helping at all. You're more or less getting in the way. That said, at the end of your turn, because you're on the outside, you take 7 points of gold damage as the cold gust is kind of right in front of you. Brooklyn, same question for you. What are you doing?
Since we got it up a little bit and I've seen Grok kind of mess up a little bit, I'm going to try to lift it up as well. Try to get him out of there.
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check.
There we go, 21.
Okay, you kind of get underneath and kind of lift it. Mirage, you feel the weight kind of taken off of your arm and elbow, or your knee, which you kind of had weirdly under there, and you can kind of feel yourself able to. You could crawl through if you wanted to, or other magical shenanigans. And Shambles, I assume, just get him.
I've got a hand outstretched if he's like reaching for us, and I'll pull him in
Okay.
if that seems. I'm trying to stay out of the way, but available to grab.
What I'll say for that is if Shambles is right there, if you start to move, Mirage, any movement you make will be increased by 5 feet. If Shambles is there, he'll be able to help drag you across the floor. Now, Brooklyn, I'm sorry, take 9 points of cold damage as the cold assails you. And Shambles, now that you kind of moved up, you can feel the cold assailing you as well. You're only taking 5, though. Okay.
You see the echo go, "Whoo, chilly."
So a good point on that. At the end of your next turn, because the Mirage is on the outside, and it was formed that turn, it will take damage. So keep that in mind. But it goes to your turn first, and because you're inside the box, you're taking your damage at the beginning, which is a total of 17 points of cold damage. And you cannot take reactions, and your movement speed is reduced to 5.
So all I need to do is move the 5 feet to get into the room now, right?
Yep.
So I just like kind of
You
roll.
move 5 feet. Shambles drags you 5 feet. You kind of slide out from underneath it. You won't take any damage at the end because you take it at the beginning. I will allow anyone who's holding the door to drop it as a free action.
Yeah, it's
Drop.
Yeah.
And Grok, you kind of feel it slipping out from under your fingers. It was, if you've ever lifted a couch and not had a good handle on it, that's where you were. That was your life right then. Brooklyn, the guy who beast modes the couch, was totally fine. But the door slammed shut, and it's no longer kind of a gust of cold air anymore. The Echo's still kind of cross-armed, does not get blown away by the cold. But yeah, you managed to survive that trap.
So Mirage sort of stands up, like, "Whew, a lot of help you were." Pushes the echo. He goes, "What? I was here."
Yeah, they do a bit too. There's a whole comedy. There's a whole comedy aspect to it.
You're like, it's Raya. It's like Raya. He makes me smile. That said, what would you like to do from that point?
This way is closed off, so unless we want to deal with the cold, since we don't know how long it's going to last, we might as well check the other area, which also seems to have cold, but not as serious as that trap.
Well, that we know of.
That we know, yes, that we know of.
And by the way, one of you sticking with the turtle for now on.
Hey,
Oh, fun. He's a good guy.
Okay. If
But
you
But if we're
just
feeling okay, I'll start headed towards the south door.
if you descend past the south door, moving through kind of the pipe room, you can see a lot of the pipes continue on further south. As you kind of make your way into the next kind of open space, this doesn't appear that it is above or beneath anything that you've encountered so far. It seems like this is actually kind of out from under the observatory. So you're no longer underneath its weight, is what I kind of mean to say. You're definitely still under the mountain for sure, but it just feels
We're not
like
under the structure of the building.
yeah. You can see that it is a very large circular room. Number of pipes inside of water. Inside of the water, there appear to be oscillating kind of blades or fans. And in the center of each of those fans is a yellow light. But on closer inspection, you realize it's not a yellow light. It's yellow glowing liquid inside of a capsule container, kind of inside of the oscillating fans, which are not connected to anything. They're just floating in the water and spinning. The water seems to have kind of white motes of energy kind of in it. Immediately upon asking the question of the sword says no. This isn't it.
Ask the sword if it's sure.
Right? I'm gonna ask it 3 times.
Pretty sure. The catwalk continues on to the south side, but stops. There's no door, no exit, or anything. Just a dead end on that catwalk. But there's a smaller catwalk, speaking of cats, that continues off to the west. And
We got.
the sound in here, it's kind of a gentle kind of whirring sound. It sounds like a dishwasher. Yep. And it's all bluish liquid. I guess is the other important factor. The same kind of blue that stone would have been if it were finished.
How far up is the catwalk from the water?
10 feet. And the pipes that go into the water, they kind of move beyond sight. Like, it's not exactly clear water. It's clear enough that you can see the fans, but it's not clear enough that you can see the bottom. But the pipes do seem to kind of go past this.
So, this is probably, since this is what is generally looking like that stone, this is probably what they're trying to make into a stone.
Perhaps. Yeah, a lot of these pipes seem to go in that direction.
Crazy.
Nothing we can do about it right now. I don't know what we could do to.
What's the temperature like in this room? Are we getting the feeling that the liquid below is very hot?
Cold, actually.
It's cold in here. Okay.
Yeah. The liquid's not freezing or anything, but it definitely feels like it would be kind of close to freezing temperatures inside of this chamber.
How far below the catwalk is the water?
10 feet.
Okay.
Well, I guess we can't really jump in the water when it feels kind of cold, so might as well go down the passage.
Okay.
I guess.
All right.
Again.
So if you continue on the positioning, I'm going to go ahead and it does look like we're getting close to time, so I do want to make sure we can get to a certain point. I just realized it. I was having a lot of fun with the description stuff. If you continue on,
fun exploration.
I'm just gonna. There's only 3 more rooms that you kind of beat through. If you go around the corner, you'll see that there's a massive power crystal, just like the one upstairs. This one looks like it's more refined, more ornately cut, and more raw energy. If you had to venture a guess, this one seems to be the thing that might be powering the storm chamber upstairs. If you had to venture a guess, it does look like it has control mechanisms, and it's pretty easy to decipher. You're pretty sure you can figure out how to turn this off if you wanted to. That said, there's a passageway to the right and to the left. If you take the left passageway, it goes to a study. The study has a couple of books, a brazier of fire, a nice comfy desk.
A long hallway.
It's a long-ass hallway. But once you get up there, you'll see it's like a nice little ornate kind of study area. If you were to take the right way, it would have gone to a library, very similarly. Very similarly kind of nice and neat, but with wooden floors. And the most important part is there is a passageway in between both of them that leads to a carpeted kind of staircase that descends down into darkness. If next session you want to come back and deal with these two libraries and stuff, which I assume is going to be the case, we'll deal with that. But I had a great stopping point I want to get to, and I didn't make it because my planning was poor. That said,
Beat yourself up.
it's okay. That's what I do. It's how I live.
Okay.
If you descend down the steps continue on for a while. The carpet then kind of goes away, and you can see that it's now unworked kind of stones, and it has kind of like a windswept nature to it, where like the edges are kind of rounded raw. You would note that there's kind of like a bluish hue kind of coming from the descent, and as you kind of make your way, you would then enter into. Hold on.
It's another forgotten goddess. Would be very important.
What?
Excited.
Somebody else falls to a religion all of a sudden.
Bear with me. Sorry, we're going a little over here.
You're good.
Fine with me.
You would then descend into a very open, cavernous space that is kind of bright bluely lit. And you would see kind of a swirling well of bluish energy with motes of kind of white kind of coming up and then disappearing in kind of streaks. Almost like fireflies kind of rising up out of the liquid and then just kind of streaking off into and disappearing. It looks like it's a bit of a descent down from where you're at. Number of different points of egress to get down there. But the thing that kind of immediately kind of factors into people's minds is there's this very strange arcane marking kind of on the north side of the well. Very strange, and it doesn't look like it's old. It looks like it's very, very fresh. Whoever placed these markings, if they are still here, is hiding or has gone. That's it. We'll start next session with you either backtracking and checking out the library and study, or continuing into the well. All right. Thanks for watching, those of you that did, and we will pick up next session from there. Should have our rogue back, so less complaints about not being able to unlock stuff. We'll see.
I got it open.
Yeah, nailed it.
We did everything we tried to do.
Thanks for watching.